Hey, what's going on, my six string friends? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated. I am Richie, and this is Six String Fun. Little detour from what we typically do as far as lessons and tutorials and all that. I'm going to talk to you about how I just go about building a pedal board. Now, let's get something out there, right away out of the gate. This is not the end-all, be-all to how to build a pedal board. Everyone's got their way of doing things, and it's not right or wrong. It's what's best for you. I'm just going to kind of walk you through how I've done it over the last X amount of years and how I've grown with it. It just seems to work for me this way, so that's kind of why I've got it set up the way you see it. And we're going to go into some more detail, show you, kind of how I've gone about doing it, putting it together, the whole thing. If you've never done it before, it's actually quite simple. It's just a matter of kind of rolling up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty, and just, getting it in there and building your own creation, basically. So, what I've got behind me is what I put together. I try to keep it as simple as I can. Everything I've got here, and I've been using the pedal train for quite a while now, different versions of the pedal train. Love it, lightweight. Pedals, once you start putting pedals on, it gets a little heavy, but it is what it is. I'll walk you through the pedals I have, why I've got them. I've had pedals come in and out, but there's a couple on this board that have been with me for quite a while, and they're my go-to. So, let's get into it. And I'll kind of show you how I've done it. Take a look at this. Here I am putting it together. And then when I'm done, we'll come back and I'll show you why I did the things I did, how I did them, and why I think it works for me. Alright, so you saw how I put it together. Let me explain to you why I did the things I did and what works for me and why the pedals are where they are. I figure I just kind of give you a close-up of the pedal board because I'm sure you'd rather see that than my ugly mug. So, it's fairly quite simple. And again, I use the pedal train board itself. There's all different types of sizes you can get depending on what you want to do. I'm probably going to be in the market in some place to get almost like the much smaller version for like mini pedals and micro pedals. And I'm going to build out a second board basically at some point because if you've seen some of the past videos, I've got pedals and bags. So I'd like to try to just at least use them best I can. So what I did here was my first pedal, and I keep it down here at the very bottom of the board closest to my feet, is my tuner. I like using the electronic tuner. I know you've got the clips you can put on the guitar. My concern with the clips is that if you're on stage with somebody and it's close proximity, just by accident you knock into something or someone, it goes flying off the guitar. You don't know where it is. This acts as a tuner as well as my bypass standby pedal because for my box amp, even though it's a tube amp, it doesn't have a standby switch. This acts as my standby switch. So you see right now, if I was gigging, no light is on, it usually means that the signal's going through and I'm playing. If I want to engage it, that's going to tell me that standby is on, and then I can tune it from there. And then when I'm done, off it goes. Typically from there, I will go from here right into my overdrives and my distortion. This I haven't gigged out yet, but I'm looking forward to it. This acts basically as a distortion and an overdrive as far as I'm concerned. So it's going to take the spot of two separate pedals for me. Bypass, it's off at that point. So so if I don't have this, if this isn't on, even though these are going to be lit, if this is off, my signal's bypassing all this. It's going to be a clean sound all the way through. But I want it on probably 99% of the time, so I'm going to keep it on, and then I can just kind of toggle back and forth between the distortion and I know it's green and blue, but I believe this here is more the heavier sound and blue is more of the overdrive. Identical parameters, I can tweak each one, and I'm off to the races, basically. From there, I actually have a bit of a long, again, we've got patch cables in between here, just like, there's all different types of patch cables. These are pancake patch cables because the flat ends, you can get the pedals closer together. At this point, I just kind of use whatever I've got and whatever lengthwise is best to get this, everything connected. I'm not a fan of pedal boards being super long, so what I'll do is I will go from here, and I've got a bit of a longer patch cable here. This cable right here, I'll go right into my chorus pedal, and I'll keep it pretty accessible as well for on and off, but I would say it's on most of the time. I could always tweak it if I need to, but I'll go into, again, for my tuner, keep the signal clean, into my overdrives, and then around here into my chorus. Now, everyone's doing things differently. You can put the chorus before the overdrive. Again, whatever works for you, but this is how I've done it over the years. And then for my modulation, and again, I only use chorus. I don't put a flanger in there. I could. I just use the chorus more. I'll go into my my reverb and my delays. Again, both of the TC Electronic, the Hall of Fame, which I've had for quite a while, as well as the Flashback. They're great. Love them. True bypass. And because the pedals are identical with the inputs and outputs, I can actually use, it's not a cable, but it's more just kind of just the metal adapter, basically. So it's basically, if you've got two of these put together, no cable, I can keep it level going in this way. So I've got those two here. And then from there, I'm going into a pitchfork. I don't use it often at all, but I just use it when I need to double up something. That's really it. So I don't think I need it, but there's a couple songs here and there that they do come in handy with, so I will just have it handy and just have it set here. Pitchfork, I can either turn it on and leave it on, which is pretty cool. But if I know I only need it for a little bit, maybe for a solo, I can engage it where it's only on when I'm pressing on it. You see the red light come on. So as long as I'm on it, it's on, engaged, and I come off, it's off. So I kind of like that feature. I could always set it, and then at least I don't have to worry about, on, and then I think I hit it, but it's really still on potentially. So I kind of like that. I tend to go with this option more when I'm playing live. And then from there, I go into the Spark Boost. I've had this for a while too. Cool little mini pedal. It is, tiny, off to the side, the whole thing. Again, might want to put your boost pedal somewhere else. I just do it here because this is a clean boost. There's no overdrive to it, so it is a clean boost. I don't remember how high it goes up to. X amount of decibels. I don't remember offhand. But I keep it set. Again, I got to set everything once I'm gigging, but once it's out of here, I'm going right into the amp, and that's it. So I try to keep the pedal board as clean as I can as far as cables. There's only so much I can do, and there's only so many, so much patience I have. I know that, and I wish I had the patience to really kind of, take my power supply, which is a DC brick right here. I've had this for over 20 years, I think. Not only is it my power supply, but it actually acts as a power conditioner too. So there is a difference between this and other units I've used where there's the hum noise, like that noise that comes potentially out of some of these pedals, either or through the cables. This does make a difference, so I do believe in that. I've got only 7 inputs for the 9 volts. All these are 9 volt capable pedals, so I'm using all the potential ones I have here. I do have an option for 3 18 volt inputs. So if I really wanted to, I do have a chorus pedal that requires 18 volts. And again, I don't use a wah pedal at all, basically, but I believe that was an 18 volt as well. So that would allow me these other inputs here without having to affect what I've got already here. And then my power supply coming out, right into wherever your source is. And that's really kind of how I do it. So the other thing I would suggest is that when you've got everything set up, just kind of like checks and balances, make sure all the pedals go on and off. All right? As long as you know that you've got a red light on there, you know that they're all plugged in, number one. Believe me, there's going to be times where you're in a hurry and you're plugging in for the gig and something isn't right. Check the power first. Make sure everything's plugged in. If that's not the issue, everything's plugged in, you're still not getting a signal, just make sure everything is connected. I can't tell you how many times I forgot the easy stuff, and that's all it was. So check that everything's connected there. Make sure your amp is on. Silly thing to think about, but make sure the amp is on. Make sure the cable coming out of here is going into the amp. Make sure the amp is plugged in. I know it's silly, but believe me, you don't think of these things. The guitar input's going to be coming into here, so make sure that it's your input here is solid, and as well as going into the jack of the guitar. If for some reason, again, make sure everything's plugged in. If for some reason something isn't working, there's a good chance it's either one of these cables in here, or it could be potentially something within the pedal, even though the power is coming on. And that's hopefully something you'll find out, not at a gig, but maybe at rehearsal, maybe when you're just kind of noodling around at home. You've got to go one pedal at a time, one input here, output into the amp. Hey, that works. Okay, I know that this pedal's okay. And then you start building your chain one by one using these patch cables. You'll eventually find out where the problem could potentially be. If you've got a bad patch cable, say here, that signal will not carry through, so you've got to go through it one at a time. So it could be something as simple as that. So, again, not the end-all, be-all. This is just how I've done it. I'm sure you can do it plenty of other ways, plenty of other tones. Because once you do start changing positions for some of these pedals, it will affect your tone somehow. Good, bad, indifferent, a lot, a little. that's up to you to just kind of figure out. But this is how I've done it, and I do it not only because of the order of operation I think it is best, but I also do it in a way where I have access to all these pedals using my feet. I try not to use clunky shoes when I'm playing. I try to keep things simple, maybe running shoes, a pair of Vans, because it gives me just a quick toe tap into these, like especially here for my standby, here to go to my different channels. Definitely here when I gotta go on and off quickly here, and here for the boost. Okay, these typically stay on most of the gig, so I don't need to worry about it a whole lot. But still, I want to be able to toe tap into these here, and that's really it. So that's kind of how I do it. Hopefully this wasn't too boring. I'm sure it was. But again, this is how I kind of run through it. I kind of cover the pedals, cover the cables as best I can going through here. And you can obviously do much more than I just did here. But that's how I do it. And then I put this in my gig bag. There's, the pedal train comes with the bag. And I keep it there. Keep everything as is. So that way, when I take it out, all I got to do is plug this into the wall, input from the amp out from here, and then guitar input right there. And I should be ready to roll. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped you out a little bit. I hope, again, there's more videos out there from different people doing different things. Definitely check them out, because it's not as if anybody's right or wrong. It's just personal preference, and this is how I do it. So hopefully you can take something out of here and run with it. And that's all I got. So thanks. Much appreciated. And I will see you out there.